Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY project, we'll be creating a beautiful iron look wall decor piece made from wood. Now the unique feature of this piece is the iron look, which is created with irrigation tubing. Now if you've been following me for a while, you'll see that I've created several DIYs using this tubing, and I absolutely love working with it. Now, we will also be creating a set of galvanized metal sconces made from Dollar Tree supplies. Now, I provided the list of supplies and tools used to make these projects in the description box below. Now, I'm so excited to share this tutorial with you, but before we start, I wanted to say hello and welcome back to my amazing subscribers and visitors to my channel. Now, if you are a new visitor to my channel today and you love to create fun and easy DIY projects on a budget, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you will be the first to know when a new DIY tutorial is ready to share with you. So now, let's jump right into the projects. Now for the wall piece, we'll need 2 of the 1x2x8 pieces of wood from the Home Depot for $1.18 each. We'll also need some of this 1/4 inch rainbow irrigation tubing from the Home Depot, and this runs about 7 cents a foot. We'll also need some of this 16 gauge wire I got from Walmart for $1.97 a roll. Now the first thing we're going to do is cut the wood down to size, and we'll need 2 pieces that will be cut at 26 inches, 3 pieces that are going to be cut at 13 inches, and 2 pieces that will be cut at 10 3/4 inches. Now if you don't have a means to cut the wood, the Home Depot would do this for you at no charge. So now I'm going to lay out my mat, and I'm going to use these grid lines as a guide while laying out my pieces. Now you want to lay out the 2 26-inch pieces on the sides and lay those 3 13-inch pieces spaced evenly, sandwiched between them. Now once everything is in place, I'll be using this wood glue to adhere the pieces together. Now I prefer wood glue for this project because it gives a little bit of working time to make adjustments. I'm going to apply that glue on one end of those 13-inch pieces and apply them into place. And then I'm going to apply the glue at the other end, and I'm going to place the other 26-inch piece into place. So now I'm going to clamp these all into place with my pressure clamps on each end. Now if you do not have these, just press the ends as snug as possible together and let the glue dry completely before handling your frame. So the next thing we want to do is to add those 2 center pieces at the top and bottom section. So apply some wood glue to each end and set those 2 10 3/4 inch pieces into place. Now since we won't be placing any screws in the center, what I'm going to do is use my staple gun, and I'm going to apply several staples to that intersection at the center of the frame. You want to make sure you place your staples on the seam. So now we'll be drilling pilot holes on the outside of the frame where the wood pieces meet. Now we want to make sure that we drill down enough for a 2-inch screw, and we're just going to repeat this process for 7 other places around the frame. Now to secure the frame together, we're going to be using these number 8 2-inch wood screws. And then we're just going to apply those screws in each one of those pilot holes. Now once all those screws are applied, we can remove those clamps, and now the frame is all held together. So now we can go ahead and apply our finish to the frame. Now I chose to paint my frame, but if you choose to stain, I recommend you do this before assembling your frame to avoid any glue splotches. Now I will be using this white chalk paint for my frame. We're just going to apply one nice coat of this paint all over the frame, and we want to allow it to completely dry. And now that our frame is dry, we can start to work on our iron accent. So we want to go ahead and grab that tubing, and we are going to start by cutting a piece about 36 inches long. And then we're going to grab that wire, and I want to unroll and cut a piece about the same length. And then I know this part is hard to see, but what I'm doing is I am inserting that wire into the tubing. So now that that's done, we can start to form our S shape. So to start the shape, what I like to do is use a pair of pliers to curl in that inner loop as shown. And then once that inner loop is started, then we can just hand curl all of the outer loops. Now I've used a wire hanger in a previous project, but this wire is a lot easier to bend and manipulate. So then we're just going to trim and curl the other end and curl it in an opposite direction as the other side. Now your final shape is going to be able to fit into the opening of your frame nice and snug, and you want it to touch all the sides and fit really snug. And once that's done, we can just repeat this so we have 4 of these shapes. So all we want to do here is we want to take all of our shapes and we want to form and fit each one of those shapes into those 4 sections. Now we'll also have some small accent swirls, and what I'll do is cut 8 8-inch pieces of the tubing for this, and then once I cut those 8-inch pieces, I'm going to add wire to each one of those short tubes. And then I'm going to take one of those pieces and take my pliers, and I just want to grab one end and wrap it around the tube a few times and then repeat on the other end, and you should come out with this little double-ended swirl. Now you want to make a total of 8 of these swirls for this frame. So now we could start to adhere the larger pieces into the frame first. What we're going to do is flip that frame over, and we want to apply the hot glue to all the points where the tubing touches the frame. Now if we did this correctly, the tubing should touch the frame in six sections on each side of the S shape. So now all of these larger pieces are nice and secure. So now we can add our little small swirls, and we're just going to fit these on each side of our S shape as shown here. Now once it's snug in there, we're just going to apply some hot glue to the contact points on the frame and contact points on that S-shaped piece. Now we are going to apply another one to the opposite side, and you can go ahead and make adjustments as you go just to make sure all the pieces all fit together nice and snug. And here's what everything looks like all adhered together. Then go ahead and make sure you remove all of those annoying little hot glue webs. So now you can flip the piece over, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this elegant gray color for some light distressing onto the piece. Now I'm just going to take a fine brush and then lightly apply the paint randomly along the edges. And then after that's done, I'm just going to lightly go in with a chip brush and dry brush that color onto the face of the frame. And then let that all completely dry. Now to hang this piece, we're going to take a picture hanger, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer this into the top of that frame. And once that's done, set it to the side and we can work on our sconces. So we'll need one of these metal vases from the Dollar Tree, and we'll also need a scrap piece of foam board from the Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to start by taking the vase, and what I want to do is I want to measure around the top opening, and I want to mark the half point at about 8.5 inches. You want to make sure you use the seam as a start point, so the seam will be on the opposite side of your mark. And then you want to do the same thing for the bottom of the container, and you want to mark it at about 5.5 inches. So now just take a straight edge and you want to draw a line connecting those marks. Now to cut the vase in half, what I'll be using are these 10 snips. Now the edges of the container will be very sharp, so you want to make sure that you wear protective hand gloves. Now ideally you should use leather hand gloves, but these plastic coated gloves will work perfect. So you want to start cutting on the line in short snips all the way down to the bottom of the container. And then you want to cut the other side along the seam. So now that both sides are cut, you want to use the snips and cut across the center. You're going to go in from one side and make a couple snips, and then go in from the other side and finish off that cut. Now you just want to take your two pieces and even out and shape the edges the way that you would like them to look. So now you can grab your foam board and you want to lay your half piece on top of that foam board. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and trace the shape onto the foam board. And then grab your hot glue gun and go around that shape a couple of times with a bead of hot glue. And then you want to place that vase right on top of that glue. You want to nestle it into the glue and hold it in place until it sets. Now you want to trim off the excess of that foam board. And this is going to be for your other vase. And you just want to repeat this process with that other vase. Now when they're both adhered, you want to add a bead of glue to the inside edges of the vases for a little bit of extra security. You won't be able to get all the way to the bottom, but try to get as much of the sides as possible. So now I'm just going to take the X-Acto knife and I want to trim off that foam board close to the edge of the vase. And then you're going to repeat this for your other vase. So now that everything is nice and trimmed, we're going to blend in that cut foam board. So I'll be using some of this 99-cent Martha Stewart silver paint that I picked up from Tuesday Morning a while back. Now I'm just going to apply a coat of that paint to the exposed foam board edges. Now I'm also going to apply a bit of it a few inches down into the vase just in case it's exposed when on display. Now to make these hang, I am just going to cut and apply 2 pieces of jute string. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to knot the edges and fold it in half. And then I'm just going to hot glue it to the back of the sconce, and I'm going to do this for both sconces. Now once those are all dry, all you have to do is add the greenery of your choice and then hang these up and put them on display. And here is our wood and faux iron wall art piece along with the sconces. I just love how these turned out. Now this wall art piece is such a great piece to display in any space, and I love how the tubing really looks like iron. Now I think the next time I'll add an even longer tubing piece for the S shapes for a more even curled effect. Now, and I also believe these sconces turned out super cute as well, and it's so easy to change up the greenery with the seasons. Now adding a little bit of light distressing is just subtle enough to add a bit of rustic charm. And no matter how you choose to paint this or stain this, this piece would make a great addition to your space, or it would even make a really great gift, and it costs less than $5. Let me know in the comments what you think about this project. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So Crafty EE on Facebook for the latest new sneak peeks and giveaways. Thank you so much for visiting and checking out my tutorial today. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below and turning on that notification bell. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.